What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So I'm really amped up today. We have some great boxing after pretty much a slow start, in my opinion. The first quarter, the first 2 months, January, February, didn't really yield much in the way of boxing in terms of we didn't know all of who was fighting. We were waiting for Mayweather to make his decision. This was before Miguel Cotto and Sergio was officially signed and done deal. And the events that came on, a lot of them were lackluster or just not great fights. But it looks like it should be full speed ahead. March we have some great fights. Canelo and Gulo Chavez Jr. tonight is going to try to avenge his win. And the reason I say avenge is because some people felt he lost in the first one, so he's trying to put on a better performance. I want to talk about Vasyl Lomachenko versus Orlando Salido. Great fight. Lomachenko, tons of amateur experience. He has nearly 400 fights, 396 fights with one loss as an amateur. And that's an impressive record. Some say he's up there with the best. Some say he is the best amateur fighter ever. What I do know is he beat Felix Verdejo, who is the Puerto Rican prospect who's moving up through the ranks and signed with Top Rank. And he just had an impressive performance his last outing. Lomachenko's only lost the one loss. He avenged it twice and beat the opponent that beat him. So we all know the AMs in the pro game is slightly different. No headgear, smaller gloves. You're fighting for a paycheck, so sometimes motivation is a different factor. Just different things like that. How it's scored. So I'm really anxious for this fight. If Lomachenko wins, he has the opportunity to set history. You see a lot of fighters, like even Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson fought like 15 to 21 people in his first year, but there were tomato cans and bums, cab drivers. They were giving Tyson that pro level experience, showing him what it felt like to get hit by another grown man, testing his chin, testing game plans, his speed, his power, and they just fed him. And that's how a lot of boxers come up. But Lomachenko is trying to go a different route. He already has the tons of amateur experience, so they're not giving him bums. In his second fight, he's fighting in Orlando Salido, which is pretty incredible. As far as my prediction, really hard to make because we haven't seen much from a pro level from Lomachenko. His last fight, he looked good, stopped his opponent, but he showed that he can be hit too. So maybe it's just his style. But if you look at it at the end of the fight, his face was a little bit tattered. Not, I mean, it wasn't David Diaz versus Pacquiao or anything, but he did take some punishment. So going in against Orlando Salido, that's the guy that put Yuriorkis Gamboa down. He's fought Marquez. He's fought the likes of Robert Guerrero, who got a shot at Mayweather. He's fought Juanma Lopez twice. Most recently, Orlando Salido's coming off of a great performance against Orlando Cruz. That's the openly gay boxer. I think a lot of people were making a big deal because he was openly gay. Like, I don't care if that's what you do in your spare time. If that's your sexual preference, so be it. But I think sometimes gay people, it's an announcement, like, you know what I mean? And then the media just runs with it, like, oh, an openly gay football player, openly gay basketball player, openly gay boxer. Like, that's cool. But what does he box like? What's his fight game like? And Orlando Salido just proved to be too much for Cruz in that fight. So he's coming off of a good performance. So it's a good time for Lomachenko to really make a statement. Like I said, it's not like Salido just lost to Mikey Garcia and then Lomachenko's going to try to finish him off. He's coming off of a comeback win, which is a good thing for Lomachenko's sake, for his credibility, I guess you could say, because Salido showed you that he still has fight in him and he still has dog in him because he was manhandling Orlando Cruz, and he showed the power, he showed that aggressiveness and that finisher spirit. So, dangerous fight. That shit scared the fuck out of me. Yeah, real dangerous fight for Lomachenko. However, for prediction's sake, I'm going to go with Lomachenko, and I don't see him necessarily knocking Orlando Salido out cold. I want to say unanimous decision, but something tells me that we might see just a stoppage, probably from the corner. Just because, in I would say in the late rounds, because Orlando Salido's tough as fuck. So if it did go the distance, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm gonna rock with Lomachenko. I think he has the skills to pay the bills. I think there's something that his promoter and trainer sees to the point where they would rush his career like this. Um, Although the amateur game and the pro game is different, when you fought nearly 400 times and you only have one loss, that shows that you might be special. You might have some intangibles, because that's very, very impressive. There's other guys like Danny Garcia who have a fraction of those fights in the amateurs, and his record is nowhere near that. I think he might have 7 to 12 losses, but in the pro level, his style has transitioned well, and Danny Garcia is doing well for himself in the pro game. So there's a lot of people who have some amateur experience or pretty good amateur experience and a decent record, and then they go on to do great things in the pro level. Um, some Olympic fighters are anomalies, where it's like the Rigondeaux and the Oscar De La Hoyas, the Mayweathers. They come from the Olympics and amateur experience, and it transitions perfectly. Then you have like people like Audley Harrison, who go to the Olympics and then they go to the pros, and they're never as good as they're expected to be. But I think Lomachenko in this fight is going to prove that he's the goods. And like I said, I see either a unanimous decision, possibly a late corner stoppage. Again, Orlando Salido's a tough motherfucker. So I don't see him, just unless he's knocked out cold or just physically debilitated to the point where he can't go on. Don't see him like giving up per se, but maybe a cut or something will open up to the point where the corner will have seen enough. And the reason I think this is because Lomachenko seems to have the goods of a complete fighter from what I've seen. It looks like he has speed, and it's kind of deceptive speed. Like it may not look as some people have. There's different levels to speed, I guess you could say. Some people have a really explosive speed. Like if you look at Shane Mosley in the lower weight division, his speed was like really impactful and explosive, and it looked good. And it's just like, damn, these motherfuckers fast. It's like letting his hands go. Or where some people have speed, but it's not as explosive, I guess you could say, but it's still there, and speed kills. So I think Lomachenko is probably going to be a little bit too fast for Orlando Salido, and I think Orlando Salido's style is the perfect opponent to showcase what Lomachenko can do. Because if you watch the Mikey Garcia Orlando Salido fight, we know Salido is aggressive, and I think he gets a little bit power happy. He relies on the fact that he's power and he's tough and he has a chin, and that's really what he knows. So what I've seen is the people who have troubled Orlando Salido, I think Lomachenko has a little bit of each of them. So when it comes to people that have troubled him, Gamboa knocked Salido down twice, I think, and he went on to beat Salido. Gamboa is really athletic, and it looks like Lomachenko's athletic. He looks pretty good in terms of shape. He looks real shredded, so he looks like he's an athletic fighter. Gamboa also has speed, so does Lomachenko. Not saying he's as fast as Gamboa, but he has some speed, and it's that's apparent. Then you look at the technical prowess. Mikey Garcia troubled just with active, aggressive counterpunching. Same thing with Juan Manuel Marquez. Orlando Salido fought Marquez back in the day, and Marquez is an impeccable counterpuncher, and I see that from Lomachenko. Another thing is this shit might be ended from via body shot, because Lomachenko really works the body and digs to the body, and I don't care how tough you are, if you go to the body, the head will fall. So just with all these things, the precision, the accuracy, the counter puncher, the athleticism, and the speed, and just the overall boxing experience. Boxing has been a significant part of both fighters' life. I just see Lomachenko winning either a late like corner stoppage, cut stoppage, possibly even a body shot. If not a unanimous decision, I do give Orlando Salido all the credit in the world. He's tough as fuck. He's game. He's a warrior. And the dangerous part is, with my prediction, I could be totally fucking wrong because I don't have as much data on Lomachenko. I've seen some of his amateur fights. I've seen his last fight, but it's a real gamble, and that's what makes this exciting. That's what makes boxing exciting. But I'm gonna go with my gut feeling, and I'm gonna rock with the favorite and give it to Lomachenko, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not trying to sell Orlando Salido short. He bodied Robert Garcia. He was beating the brakes off, or not Robert Garcia, excuse me, Robert Guerrero. He was beating the brakes off of Robert Guerrero, even though it was later ruled to a no contest because he was dabbling with the drugs or whatever, or PEDs or whatever. So Salido's tough. He could prove to be too much for Lomachenko, but again, for prediction's sake, I'm going with Lomachenko. I just see the tactical technician. I see the power. I see the speed, and I think for Salido's style, very aggressive. I think Lomachenko is going to make him pay for that aggression. But again, it's a huge gamble because even Lomachenko's first fight didn't go that many rounds, and this is scheduled for 10 or 12 rounds. So it's a gamble, especially during the stretch. If Lomachenko can't dictate the pace early, then things could get real interesting because Orlando Salido is a person who's had to work for it and just fighting whoever, you know what I mean? Just being a tough badass, fighting whoever. So he gained a lot of on-the-job training. So down the stretch, he's going to be deadly if Lomachenko hasn't dictated the pace. Kind of like if you look at Mikey Garcia versus Juan Carlos Burgos, after about the second round, Mikey Garcia started to pull away, and round after round after round, you knew Burgos was more and more out of it. So unless if Lomachenko does that, then he's safe. But if he doesn't establish an early, like, definitive lead, kind of like Mikey Garcia did with Orlando Salido, it's going to be dangerous. Even if you watch the Mikey Garcia Orlando Salido fight, Mikey Garcia looked good, knocked Salido down 4 times, and the end looked imminent, but it looked like Salido got a second win in those championship rounds. Unfortunately, Mikey Garcia got caught with an accidental headbutt, and his nose was broke. The fight was stopped, so we didn't get to see it end in the more conventional way. So it looked like Salido was coming on strong. So if Lomachenko doesn't, like, grab the bull by the horns, not having that pro experience down the stretch could get real interesting. And it would favor Salido if he hasn't established that control. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.